Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to NS9 Live. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, of course, we have Tyler Sweeney. Missing from the group is Jim. It's going to be a great show. How you doing,
It
Tyler?
is. You know what I noticed today here, buddy?
Kind of busy.
I noticed today during our emergency podcast, which we will get to everything that's happened today. I noticed today that our record was wrong with the Pirates. We had 12-25.
Who did the post game yesterday?
Cody,
Ryan. You know, every time there's a day.
And I noticed it again here when we went live. I forgot all about it until now.
Well, thank you for noticing that. I don't even check the record because I
had to make sure like we had the right record on this bad boy.
Yeah. Well, at least the emergency podcast was wrong.
Yeah, I got a little distracted there, but hey.
I know it's for good reason.
Yeah, but I don't want to say it's a good day. Like it's a day that I think we've all been waiting on. You guys got to say a little bit of your piece, and we'll say a lot of it tonight. But I mean, it sucks for Derek Shelton. Like, he seemed like a good dude, but he wasn't getting the job done, and it was time. And they pulled the plug a little bit late, but plug got pulled. Let's see what old Donnie Kelly has to offer.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, yeah, we had
we'll get into it, buddy. We got an hour.
Cody and I came on. We talked about the emergency podcast. By the way, it's already recorded. Tomorrow we'll be premiering it. Doug and Neil had a nice little, it's about a 40-minute show. They talked, they went into it. So tune into that.
Doug and Neil went 40 minutes? Are you kidding me?
Doug and Neil went 40 minutes. Oh, it's a good time. It's going to be a great
Never could have guessed.
I haven't even seen it yet. The whole thing, at least. So I'm anxious. But at any rate, it's NS9 Live. We certainly have a lot to talk about tonight. We also brought on a guest. We brought returning guest Noah Hiles from the Post-Gazette on. I'm sure he has some pretty good insight of all that happened today, what maybe led up today, and what's going to happen after today. So what are your thoughts on that, Tyler? Should we bring him on?
I mean, like, I would have been happier with Alex, but Noah's fine.
Yeah, I mean, Alex is on the bigger and better things. That's all.
Yeah,
that's why.
He is. He's talking to the big media.
That's it. Well, then let's go ahead. No reason to wait any further. Noah, welcome back to the show. How you doing, my guy?
I would have also preferred you guys had Alex on today for the record. No, I'm doing great. Just another day living the dream, covering the 2025 Pittsburgh Pirates.
Oh, I'm sure.
How are we feeling, Noah?
What's that?
How are we feeling? Wild day for you, I'm sure.
Honestly, this isn't even like in the top 5 wildest days of the season. Okay. You know, like no one was rushed to the hospital. No one, like, you know, this was actually just something that like everyone was anticipated happening and actually happened.
You know, you make a good point,
a very unfortunate circumstance for like the individual who lost his job. But like, I felt like a lot of people saw this coming and it happened. And so like that stuff's easier to cover than, you know, the many other times where you show up thinking you're just going to write about a baseball game and you don't end up writing a lot about a baseball game.
DiNardo, I feel like, and I'll let you go here after this, but I feel like we both had the same thought process there where we looked crazy, like top 5 this season. And then we thought about
the thing just went in my head like those little bugs. And I was like,
never mind. You're right.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's May 8th right now.
Yeah.
And the manager getting fired doesn't even like make the top 5 list of like issues that's happened so far for your team. It kind of speaks to the 2025 Pirates.
It's a team storyline, but as far as like I said, like this wasn't that surprising. Whereas, I mean, if I told you at the beginning of the season that he'd be fired on May 8th, yeah, that would have been shocking. But after watching them play 38 games, especially after it was abundantly clear in St. Louis that this was the end. I mean, and people within the organization kind of knew. Like, not that they had been told, hey, this guy's getting fired, but I'd been told by multiple people, like, yeah, he's gone soon. And that wasn't like a bold prediction. It was just kind of like, this is how this works. So it just wasn't a surprise. Like, I had the story written already and woke up this morning knowing it's like, all right, this is going to happen today.
How many times have you rewritten that story?
I mean, I wrote it last year. But like, I'll say like that I don't say that to sound like, you know, like a jackass. Like any chance you can get, because I mean, you you write a lot of stories covering Major League Baseball, like 2 a day or 2 for every game. And there's 162 of those. And then you have transactions, you have breaking news, you have a lot of different stuff. So anytime you can identify a story and work ahead, you do it. Like I have Bubba Chandler's call-up story pre-written. And like, I don't know when it's going to be, but it's just like, you just write it and then you just fill in the blank. And it's that simple.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Not a procrastinator. You start at 9, not ish.
Yeah.
No, he uses ChatGPT. Don't let him lie.
Oh, dude. No, we're not fans of ChatGPT.
That was slanderous.
That's gonna take away the one skill I have. If we aren't paying people to write anything anymore, then like I'm cooked.
Hey, listen, there's already babies. There's AI babies having podcasts, so we're also cooked. Don't worry.
That's true.
Well, we are cooked to begin with. But anyways, no, I mean, for like, I kind of answer this, but like, what was your initial reaction when you kind of got word of the news?
I mean, even if you do anticipate it or, think it's coming, it is kind of surreal seeing it. To pull back the curtain, the Post-Gazette heard that it had happened probably 40-ish minutes beforehand. I mean, both of you guys know that because I told you. And when DiNardo reached out to me to like come on tonight, like I was trying to get this confirmed and I was like, yeah, sure. Whatever, man. Like I'll talk to you in a minute. But like, I just
thought you were being, rude and mean, whatever to me. That's all.
Yeah. I texted probably like a dozen people and some of them didn't know. Some of them didn't answer. And that's where it was like, oh, this is really happening. Because some of the people who I texted normally get back to me very quickly, regardless if it's right. And especially if I hear something and it's not correct, they're very quick to be like, no, and you need to get that out there that this is not true. And when I wasn't hearing back from certain people, it was kind of like, oh, this is happening. They're just not ready for it to be known yet. And that's when I was sending messages to my boss, like, get that story, like, put the mouse right above the publish button. Like, this is happening. And then as I'm sending like my 13th text to someone to like try to get to confirm it, I got the tweet notification that the Pirates made the announcement. And it's like, well, there it is. So, yeah, it's surreal. I mean, it's the first time I've ever covered a team that had its manager fired mid-season or head coach fired mid-season. And on a personal note, like it's weird for me because I had a very good relationship with Derek Shelton. I know that, fans exactly. Well, it's ironic because most people, when you think of me and Derek Shelton, you think of maybe his most contentious moment with the media during his whole tenure when
there's a better question than that.
Yeah, that exactly. But ironically enough, like after that, he and I got to know each other really well. Like the next day he brought me into his office and we talked. Over the offseason, we got to know each other. And like during spring training, we had a lot of really good conversations about baseball, just about life. And this season too, there were a lot of times, and there's some stuff that we talked about that I can never write. It's just like, but that's cool as a journalist that he trusted me to tell me some stuff that it's like, hey, this can never see the light of day, but you need to hear some things that kind of puts what's going on in context. And I appreciated that. I'm not going to sit here and say I was the guy's best friend. That wasn't my role. But this is the first major league manager I've covered. And I'm happy to say we had a very productive and solid professional relationship. I wish him nothing but the best.
Yeah. And just to rewind a little bit back on you trying to reach out to everybody and their mother to confirm it. I feel like, and I texted you guys about this too. I kind of got a feeling something was happening because you and Alex both were silent.
Yeah.
And that is not the case ever. So about 9:30, when there's not a single text from Alex or Noah in the little chat, I'm like, something's happening today. But do you think, just to take this back to Shelton, Cherington talked a good bit about the relationship he built with Shelton. Do you think that Cherington made the final call, or was this more of a Bob Nutting being, hey, buddy, we got to do something here? And I know it's a lot of speculation here, but Cherington said it was his call. Just your feel on it.
I think everyone kind of came to that conclusion. I think they went to St. Louis, and it was, all right, you got Keller and Skeens thrown in 2 of these 3 games, and it's a series against one of the only teams you've won a series against this season. If you guys can't do it now, then we have no other choice. I don't think Ben wanted to do this, but, I mean, if Ben didn't, then he's putting his own ass on the line. So, yeah, I think it was one of those situations where I think, like I said, I'd been told by other people that this was happening sooner rather than later, and not just off of, they heard it straight from Bob Nutting, but it's like, this is how it works, man. This is how it works. And again, like, I think Ben said it in his presser. Shelton wasn't surprised.
Yeah.
I had a feeling when I talked to him after yesterday's game, when he walked away, I looked at Alex and I said, it's probably the last time we're talking to that guy in this uniform. And I'm sure he thought the same thing too. I don't think Ben was just like, all right, I've had enough. It was more just like, all right, it's time.
Yeah. There wasn't a choice left.
There wasn't. There wasn't. And that's the only lever they can pull right now. And I'm sure we'll talk about it later in the show, but quite frankly, I think the biggest takeaway from the first 38 games of the season is multiple levers should have been pulled last October.
Agree. For sure. Let's just go to that quote then right now. Ben Cherington says he's more responsible than anyone in this whole situation.
Mm-hmm.
He is the one who attached himself to the hip. I think you were on the show when we talked about that more or less, where we're accountable together, and, he's bringing them back. And I didn't think he was going to last the offseason, but he did. So I guess my question is, I know Ben's saying he's more responsible. He's still here. Let's kind of gears here a little bit to Ben in this side. How safe is his job? Is he feeling anything? Because I know he says he wakes up every day and all he wants to do is be the GM of the Pirates. He's here for us. That's the only reason he gets up every morning. Apparently. I don't know. I have more selfish reasons to work, but he's selfless. Is there really any pressure? Is this like, hey, this is also Ben's last lever to pull to keep his job? Is he safe? What's your perspective on that?
It's one of them. I think if the season ended today, Ben Cherington would still be the GM. From the conversations I've had, there's still more that needs to go wrong for him to lose his job, which is kind of hard to believe. Objectively speaking,
right.
It's hard to fathom someone having 6 losing seasons and getting a 7th opportunity, right? But the conversations I've had have indicated that as of now, he's safe. Now, I do think that there's going to be a lot of extensive evaluations done come October. I don't think that any of the hoopla enticed Bob Nutting to explore selling the team. But I do think that for the first time, maybe ever, in his ownership, he kind of really got a feel of how his fan base feels about him.
Mm-hmm.
Where I think prior to this year, it was more just like, it's just the vocal minority. And it's like, oh, no, like, we have a very, very big problem. Forget as baseball, as a business right now. We're not doing anything right. So I think that Travis Williams will have to be reviewed at the end of the year. Ben Cherington, a lot of people, because nothing has gone right. So right now, sure. I don't think they're going to fire Cherington midseason. And, if Don Kelly comes in and leads this team to how many games is he going to coach them? 100 what? 20 something?
I want to list, but I don't know math.
We had the record wrong. What was it again? 12 and 26.
Yeah, so it'd be
Hey,
30,
Chat
it'd be like
GPT.
124, right?
Sure.
Sounds
I
about
don't
right.
know. Something like that. Let's say he finishes 5 games over 500 as their manager.
124.
They still finished 9 games under 500 on the season. I don't know if that's enough to get Ben fired. Like if Donnie Kelly comes in and the team that Ben assembled with Nick Gonzalez, Spencer Horwitz, Jared Jones, and Bubba Chandler, when all those guys are here, and if they play slightly above average baseball, that might be enough to save them. I'm not saying it should be, but that might be enough.
So where was the clubhouse at lately? You've been in there a good bit. It's had to have been a little bit of a damper of a mood. And I mean, how can you not be? Like,
Yeah. I mean, there's an array
did it
of
feel like your manager's about to get fired, I should
Well,
say.
yeah, I mean, I feel like there's that. That's clearly one thing that's going on, being felt. Another thing is there's some veterans in here who came in and they're just kind of staring at a wall like, what the hell did I sign up for? You know, guys who, maybe they didn't have a ton of opportunities elsewhere, but it's just like, people who've played for winning organizations, played in the playoffs, and they're just like, what is this that I'm a part of right now? Then on the flip side, you have a lot of younger guys saying, oh my God, if I can't do it here, where can I do it?
Yeah.
And it's tough to watch. Like it's the most, Wednesday was the most dejected clubhouse I've seen at any level of any sport. I mean, they weren't crying like the high schoolers I used to cover would cry when they would lose in like the Whippeal semifinals or something.
There's no
Like
crying in baseball.
when you're a senior and it's like, oh, it's over. Now I got to go to like Cal U and study business or whatever. Like 85% of the Whippeal kids I covered did. It wasn't like that, but it was just like, it was like shock, because I really do think that clubhouse believed that this was going to be a decent team this year. I think all of them understood the limitations that come with this organization. Like they realized like, oh, like we're probably going to end up hitting a point sometime down the road where it's like, we've maxed out. This is the furthest we can go, but damn it, we put a good, honest effort in and we played good baseball. But no one expected it to be this. And you can see that. You can feel that when you're walking around. No one wants to talk because, quite frankly, no one has anything to say. It's been bad.
Yeah. It has been bad. No, and I guess I kind of go back on
like show constantly. We know it's been bad. You've had to write articles about them. It's been rough.
Yeah.
So, and again, like, going back to the clubhouse, how it looks at that way on the field too. I mean, it just seems as if the way they're playing, so we know a lot of times when coaches get fired, right? New guy comes in, some motivation. Maybe the players realize like, hey, we were part of this, little kick in the ass. Don Kelly's now taking over as manager. So I guess starting with that with Don Kelly, he has been titled the manager, no interim. It sounds to me, my perspective, it sounds like what Ben said was, it's not really that he's like the manager. Like they didn't promote him the manager. It's just like, we're just going to label manager because he's going to be the manager. Is that how it came like across to you?
Right. Yeah. They did. That's exactly how it came across, which I just don't get. Cause then he went and said, I tweeted it, like he is the manager through 2025. And it's like, okay. So
and
yeah. And what? Like what else? Like, okay, cool. I don't know.
He's the interim manager.
I don't understand why they didn't throw that tag on there. Like the first person that you go on a date with after you end a relationship doesn't have to be your next girlfriend. Like you don't have to call it that. Maybe it ends up being that way, but it feels like we're just searching for titles now. It's like
we're in the talking
trying
stage.
to prove. What are we trying to prove with this? That we've potentially already found our next answer? Candidly, the next manager shouldn't be a part of what's currently going on. What's currently going on is bad.
Now, I agree with
Don
that.
Kelly.
I don't want to, I don't want to completely write off Don Kelly. I don't want to say, well, you were a part of this, so like you just can't be a part of this. But I'm with you. It's also like, but you were a part of this. Like if this team needs a new voice, needs a new direction, you probably want a new voice and a new direction. So I guess like with that, like, do you think he's going to be given a fair shot? Also, like I know he's the manager, 2025. Is he also be given a fair shot when this offseason comes up? Is this really like him prove himself and he has a real opportunity and a shot to be the 2026 manager?
I think his odds are a lot better if Ben Cherington's still the general manager. Just because, I mean, how many people has Ben kicked to the curb in this org?
One.
Right. I mean, they've replaced people, but those people get new jobs in the org. There have been so many people that you can highlight. It's just like, okay, well, he's not our farm director anymore. He's this now. It's like, okay, so who, like they'll bring in outside people, but like they don't really get rid of people. I mean, they got rid of Andy Haynes. They got rid of Justin Message. They got rid of Rick Eckstein and, a couple of other people here and there. But for the most part, people don't get let go.
I mean, there's still people from the old regime still here because they doesn't want to.
There's people from 2 regimes ago still here. It's kind of impressive when you think about it. But I don't know. So, yeah, I would say if Ben's the GM, he's got a better shot of being retained because, A, Ben clearly values his guys, right? I mean, we see that from the teams he does deals with. Done. We see that from the people he hires, people he doesn't let leave, even if they don't really have a job to do anymore. We see all of that. So and then the other part of it is if Ben's still here, that means they probably played better baseball under Don Kelly. And so that's the extent of it to my understanding, or at least how it should be, right? Like, I don't see how you can. Let's zoom out even further. This has been the worst professional sports organization for 30 plus years now. There's been winning 4 times. I don't care how well or respected or, individually some people might have been while they passed through. But I don't want to hear any, oh, well, he's the former Pirate or he is this. You shouldn't be searching for anyone with any remote connection to what has just transpired because that doesn't work. Even if they're friends, if they sat together on a flight, I don't care. Like, they should have no attachment because what has worked? What gives you the idea that any sort of familiarity is the right call here? It's not. Maybe the only way that it makes sense is these people we know are willing to work for this organization. That might just be as simple as it is. But man, if that's it, then what are we even doing?
So real quick, I know we kind of just poo-pooed the idea because Donnie Kelly is a former Pirate and has connections to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
But just talk to me a little bit about Don Kelly and just, we're all out, me and Donardo, we're outsiders here. And just being around kind of like peripheral of the organization, Don Kelly to me, and just my perspective, he carries himself as a dude's dude to me.
Yeah.
I thought the same thing about Derek Shelton, to be fair. When he came in, I think it's kind of fallen off a little bit as the years have beat him down a touch. Like, I don't see him carry himself the way I think he did early on. To me, Don Kelly, just, again, outsider, watching him walk around and watching guys interact with him, you're in there a lot more than I am of it. Well, 100% more than I am. But
it's good. It's a good call.
Yeah,
Tyler.
You're in there.
Great observation.
Me.
I will have to agree with that.
I'll
yes.
say that. But just talk to me about Don Kelly. Where the guys respect him, why he's here.
Don Kelly's going to be a big league manager one day. I mean, he is right now. But
Well,
and I wouldn't be
You're
shocked.
100% right about that.
Yes, I wouldn't be shocked, and I'm not comparing the two as like people, but like if he ended up being like a Dan Campbell of baseball, where it's like he got an interim thing, then went elsewhere, and then just got his managerial opportunity because they're just like, look at all of this experience, look at who the person is, and he can build something of his own. This right here, Don Kelly hasn't built anything. He's been a part of the crew, but this isn't Don Kelly's team. This isn't Don Kelly's org. Like, and that's partially why I think, again, it's just like, you need to hire someone to build their own thing here. And this isn't Don Kelly's own thing. But he also has his fingerprints on what it is now. So that's why it's just not meant to work. But like, would I be shocked if Don Kelly went to like, I don't know, like the Rockies, or maybe not the Rockies. I don't know if anyone's ever going to win for the Rockies, but like went somewhere else where a manager job opened and he took them to the playoffs? I wouldn't be shocked at all. I mean, this is a guy who has Jim Leland's stamp of approval, who played 9 years in the major leagues, played literally every position in baseball. As soon as his playing career ended, he became a scout for the Detroit Tigers for 2 years. As soon as that ended, he becomes the first base coach for the Houston Astros, was a part of a pennant-winning staff. And 1 year after that, just 1 year into his coaching career, he's essentially like the second highest coaching position you can get for a team that was 5 years removed from winning 98 games. Like, who's just looking to start something over. That's how highly the baseball world thinks of Don Kelly. Like, I know the 6 years of attachment into Pittsburgh, some people will view that unfavorably, people who don't really get how the baseball community works, but it's like, what impact could a bench coach really have either way, right? I think he will be a good manager one day. I don't think it'll be here. But for like the Pittsburgh connections, yeah, I mean, this guy won a state championship his senior year at Mount Lebanon in 1998. He went to Point Park, was an NAIA All-American. He batted .413 in his collegiate career. He struck out 200 times in over 500 plate appearances. That's a baller stat. And he walked like 75 times too. So, I mean, he was a heck of an at bat, really. He was a guy where it's like, if you look at his baseball card, like, it's like, how did he last 9 years in the majors? It's because he is the glue guy. And glue guys like that, they end up becoming good managers, right? Guys that it's like, we want him in our clubhouse, even if he is worth negative 0.1 WAR this season, because he will do whatever we need him to do. And he understands baseball. This is the perfect interim GM. Or interim GM. This is the perfect, maybe interim GM too, who knows. But no, he's the perfect interim manager because for all of the reasons that we talked about, like, he is beloved in this clubhouse. It's just like, I don't know if his messaging is going to matter now. They're 14 games under 500 and he's already been there. But I think if you give Don Kelly a fresh slate, a clean slate, and let him go somewhere new and kind of build his own culture, I think he can lead a team to the playoffs. Just not here.
I mean, that's at least good to hear. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not where this guy's going to come in and turn the ship around and lead this team to the playoffs, right? And I understand like there's some issues he's been, with this organization that we talked about, but like I said, I do want to give him a fair opportunity and a fair shot because I do feel like he deserves, he earned it, and you give a very good stamp of approval right there. So like at least I'm comfortable knowing Don Kelly's here because again, like I don't know too much about him either. So wanted to hear your take on that. Do you think the players are going to respond to this in any way? Like, do we see tomorrow they take on the Braves, who are kind of not, the Braves that we're used to either? Are they going to come out and be more energized? Do you think he's going to do anything for this club right now?
No. I mean, dude, they're 14 games under 500 in the first week.
Yeah.
Freaking Bruce Bochy could walk through that door right now, or Terry Francona or whoever. And it's just like, I think this team knows it's not good enough to get back to 500. I think it knew at max, the ceiling, the best they're capable of playing is 10 games over 500. Right now, they're 14 games under 500, which means even if they play to their absolute potential, they're still going to be an under 500 team. Under 500 teams don't make the playoffs. They know their season's done. And they know they've got to play baseball for another 4 months still. So sure, like they might respond to Don Kelly. Don Kelly might, the greatest value he can provide to this team is by just not making it a miserable summer. Be like, look, find ways to individually motivate people. You know, Henry Davis, here's what you have to play for this summer. Paul Skeens, here's what you have to play for. Mitch Keller, Ke'Bryan Hayes, Jack Sawinski, whenever you're back up, O'Neal, whoever. It's like, look, the team, let's call a spade a spade. The team ain't going anywhere this year. It's done. The season's over. But each and every single one of you have individual things that you need to show up to the ballpark for every day and execute. If it's money, if it's becoming an everyday player, if it's proving you're not a bust, if it's earning an opportunity to come back here next year.
Right.
Or get out of here.
Yeah, or if it's
in July.
I was going to say one or the other.
You're miserable, guess what? There's a lot of you who ain't going to be here on August 1st. You want out? Play your way out.
Tommy, you want to go play for a playoff team? Time to be better.
Right. Want to keep the streak alive? Get traded?
But that's the value you're going to get. It's going to be an individual thing. Not to say that they're not going to try their absolute best to get this thing back on track, but they know it. They know that they're not good enough to get out of this. They won't say it, but the team knows it. So now they're going to have to figure out a way to just get through the 120 plus games remaining.
Good deal.
Poor Noah. Rough day for you, but great day. But not so great, but
I'm home.
a little bit of everything.
Knicks won.
You've been
You're
all
so
over the
well.
world today, buddy.
Yeah.
Well, Ty, you got anything else for Noah?
No, I think
We'll
we
get some.
Noah's done
some
enough
good
Pirates
rest.
reporting today, I feel like.
I've got more work to do when I'm hanging up this call, so it doesn't really matter. Now I've got 3 radio hits scheduled before noon tomorrow. So I'm going to be talking a lot about Don Kelly. Probably won't be as candid as I was with you guys because you're blog boys and no one watches this shit. But hey.
Yes. Can I make that a quote card for tomorrow?
Yeah, you can.
All right.
Just make sure you share every time. Oh, yeah, I told this in North Shore 9 last night, but.
Listen, while I have a platform, I just want to say, Bucko Mike.
Yes.
I appreciate you, brother. I really enjoy your interactions. My dad finds you hilarious. Shout out Bucko Mike. He's what keeps me going. I talked about how Don Kelly needs to keep the guys going individually. Bucko Mike is my Don Kelly. Every day, it's like one of these days, Bucko Mike's going to say something nice about me. I just know it. And it's like, I don't know how many more, scoops I need to get or whatever. But yeah, one of these days, I'm going to win over his heart. I just know it.
I love
Well.
the only response you got was LOL.
Yeah, he's laughing at me. He's laughing at me. Come on, Bucko Mike.
Well, we know Noah's dad likes Bucko Mike. Ty's dad, a Bucko Mike believer as well.
He's still figuring out how to use YouTube.
So's Bucko Mike. So. All right, Noah, we'll let you go. You got some work to do. We always appreciate you coming on, though. So everyone, go ahead and follow Noah. If you don't, go read his work, Post-Gazette. And we'll talk to you later.
All right, fellas. Talk to you later.
Appreciate you.
Later. Oh, Ty.
Where to begin?
Well, I guess we should begin at the end. And the end is Shelton's tenure with the Pirates.
Yeah.
It's over. It is over. So, what's your takeaway from Shelton's tenure with the Pirates? Again, like I had said my piece
Right.
today on a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
and I might go a little further on things, but What say you?
So it's weird because we're in a different atmosphere than we usually are with Shelton, where we're coming off a game or a post game, or we're on a North Shore Night Live where we're usually angry about something, or I am personally angry about something.
Right.
In all reality,
You
like
never get angry.
I mean, Derek Shelton, I don't think is a bad baseball coach. I really don't. He wouldn't be in the position he was in if he were a bad baseball coach. We got distracted there by our bottom, but I feel bad for the guy a little bit, I think. And when I say that, I mean that he literally had very little to work with. But at the same time, when you look at the grand scheme of things, we're on year 6. Your grand achievement here to me is that in 2023, when your GM traded everybody and their mother, you played 500 baseball for 2 months of the year with 2 pitchers. That is a grand achievement of Derek Shelton's career. We have seen no prospects come up and get better. We haven't seen anybody really take a step forward aside from O'Neal Cruz this year. There hasn't been the improvement. There hasn't been the organizational structure. And a lot of that's not on him, but you're the scapegoat here, man. He's the first to go. I don't think he did enough to keep his job, and I don't think he has done enough, and that's why he should have been fired last year. It's just more at the fact that we're well beyond time. That the time has passed with Derek Shelton as the Pirates manager. It's Don Kelly time. I don't know if that's any better. None of it's really getting better until we get rid of Bob Nutting and Ben Cherington. This is the easiest path to do it. It's just time, man. It's time.
Well,
Hey,
Jim,
Jim.
since you
I got
decided to
distracted by
join
you
the show,
jumping in there.
I'll say, what are we talking about today?
Don Kelly.
really, that's how you come on? You tell us
Did
you
anything-
you can't
did
make the show. You can't do it. You're too busy traveling the world, watching other baseball games, watching the Rockies and Royals, and then you just jump on right now and make that dumb joke.
Did something happen today? Yeah.
Nothing happened. Go back. Go away. No, but you're on. Give us your input. I know you're dying to say something.
I'm not really dying to say anything, but I think this was something that we all saw coming. I think pretty much everybody knew at the end of that Cardinals series that we probably just witnessed Derek Shelton's final game as manager. 12-26. That's the record right now. I mean, like Noah said before I hopped on here, like there's no coming back from that. Like the season's over. So like this is the one lever that Ben Cherington has to pull to hopefully extend his stay another year. I was a little surprised. I was listening to that first half with Noah, and you know the surprising part there is like he seems to think that that people think Ben's job is still safe, and I find that a little hard to believe that it is, just because of, I mean, it's been a disaster. It's been a complete disaster. I mean, this is year 6. You cannot possibly give this guy a year 7. I don't see how that happens. But I think this was like the one move that Ben Cherington could have made to potentially give him that chance, right? Because at 12-26, you pull this move now. Don Kelly's now taking over. Next up is Spencer Horwitz is back. Nick Gonzalez is back. Dowry Moreta's back. Johan Oviedo's back. Jared Jones is back. Bubba Chandler's called up. So, like, these are all nice names, and they're not enough to turn the season around from 12-26 to, like, make them a playoff contender. But is that enough to make this team 2 games over 500 the rest of the year? Because guess what? If it is, then there is going to be a conversation to be had of, hey, maybe it was Shelton.
Right.
See, once I got rid of him and we put Don Kelly in charge, we started winning some games.
I definitely think he at least did enough to buy himself another year. And that, I think I said that last year when he kept Shelton, was that it feels like he's keeping around to fire him so he can buy himself another year. And I feel like that's what he did here.
I think that what Jim says is 100% correct. This probably couldn't have worked out any worse, but best for Ben Cherington to keep his job in a bad season. Like, if you're going to be this horrible by the time this all to come about, because you are right, this is the time Bubba's probably coming up. There's reinforcements. Spencer Horwitz, Dowdy Redder, already in AAA, doing the rehab assignment. Horwitz, I think, can be down there for just 10 more days, I think, at max, something like that. So, like, he's coming. Nick Gonzalez is out of his walking boot. He's starting to come. So reinforcement going to come. And he's going to leverage and say that, yes, see this time period? This was the team I assembled. This was the team I put out there and gave them. And now the new voice, new leader, they played above 500 ball. The problem is, if that was Kelly at the beginning of the season, you don't have Bubba Chandler there. Like, this is all stuff that was already baked into the season. You know what I mean? He's just afforded the best part of the season. And the reason you're talking about all this stuff is because you didn't provide the depth. You know, like, you shouldn't have to be this terrible and struggle this bad because Spencer Horwitz, who has like 400 career plate appearances as a 27-year-old, is injured, which, by the way, you traded for him as an injured commodity. You know, like, that's on you. So like, yeah, if he's a good salesman, this is how he's going to leverage it and play off it. And I'm sure he can talk it like that. That's a conversation to be had. And there's rationality to it. But if you see through it, like, you still did this, and you shouldn't be worrying about all this stuff because, I don't know, whatever. But I'm with you. I find it kind of shocking. I'm still holding to my near and dear take of he's gone by the All-Star break.
No. Is this not just so frustrating? And I don't know if anybody else, like, I think, Denardo, you dug in a little bit more about the Cherington presser. But, like, everybody just hammered Cherington about the moves he's made. And Cherington, to his credit, kind of took responsibility for it. But just watching it, like, you just fired someone else for all of your problems you created. And Derek Shelton should be fired. He didn't do enough to keep his job. That's completely fair. But my God, Ben Cherington created this problem. He's acquired shit everywhere. And he just gets to stand up there and
I hated that presser. So let me know when we want to talk about it so I can talk about it, but we won't talk about it now. But damn it, did I hate that presser.
Sorry, I just had to, like, what are we doing here, man?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's weird that, I mean, we were all at the end of last year saying Shelton's got to go. Like, at a bare minimum, you need to flip the switch and say, we're not going to just do the exact same thing that we've been doing for 5 years. And not only did they keep him and run it back, but
they ran
like
it back.
We kind of talked about all offseason, they just didn't do nearly what was expected of them. The whole offseason, the number that was thrown around was like, hey, payroll should be able to push 100 million. Payroll should be able to push about 100 million. It's not pushing 100 million right now. We definitely need to get a cornerback. That's our number one priority. And they ended up with Tommy Pham and Adam Frazier. That's what they did. So, like, they went into this offseason with things that they knew they had to do to get better, and they just simply didn't do it. They ran it back with the same manager. They ran it back with the same core talent team that won 76 games the year before. They dealt, some of the starting pitching depth that they had, which I think we were all in favor. Like, if you can deal from a position of strength, do it. But you went out there and you got a guy with an injured wrist who, again, he's going to come back here, but like, the season's over and your number one offseason acquisition hasn't played a game yet. It's like, you failed miserably this offseason. Miserably. I'm not going to agree with Denardo. I don't think Ben Cherington's gone by mid-season or anything like that. but I have a hard time believing that he gets a 7th year. I mean, unless Don Kelly is a miracle worker, and like Noah was saying, he can convince each and every one of those guys in that dugout, hey, you've got to play for this. This is what you're playing for. This is what you're playing for. And I like that Noah said that, because there are ways to motivate these players in the clubhouse. You know, if you want out of this, play better, then you'll get traded. Another team will want you. Like there are plenty of things to play for if you're a member of the Pittsburgh Pirates. And if he can tap into that a little bit and be a miracle worker and turn things around, then you know it's going to be a weird conversation this offseason. But I don't think there's any way to save this team right now. And I think Ben Cherington's next to go. Shelton just, you know, he's the scapegoat. He's the first one to go. That's just how it is in situations like this. But I don't think they're saving this team, because even if Don Kelly does go and turn this thing around and plays 500 ball from here on out, you're still a bad baseball team. You had 6 years to do this, and you still haven't figured it out. Like, we cannot give you a 7th year. That's kind of my take here. Like, there's just no way they can give him a 7th year.
Well, you know, we're all with that. Unless, again, there's some miracle that just proves that, like, Shelton couldn't get it. Like if Henry Davis turns it around, it's like, okay, now he's found something. And I don't know, go down the list. Jack Swinski, right? All these guys have just been failing and failing and failing. All of a sudden they start turning around this year. That's to me, the only way I could see bringing it back. Because it's like, hey, something clicked. We found it. Shelton was the problem. I don't agree with that. I don't think that's going to be the case. That's the only way I could see it, because again, it's not even so much of the team is where it's at. It's just that the fact that, like, there's been no development. Every person he's acquired, for the most part, has just not produced. You look at the trades, you look at the free agent acquisitions, you look at the draft, you know, like minus Paul Skeens, gifted to you in that sense. But you know, today would have been a perfect. This is more about Shelton, but like I did something, but like he's wasting Bob Nutting's money. Like, again, like, think about it. Like, he's wasting his money. He brings in people and they bring him negative value. Whether it's $4 million or $10 million, it's wasting Bob's money. Bob could just not give him $4 million for Tommy Pham. The team would be better. And Bob would have $4 million more dollars. You know, so like Ben Cherington is costing Bob Nutting valuable money.
That's a spin zone we have to go with.
But
Maybe
think
that's how
about
we
it.
get him fired.
Think about it. If I'm Bob, you're spending all this money and they're turning into terrible players. Give me my money back, Ben.
And Cody brings it up here in the comments that who becomes the next bench coach. And I think that's a kind of slightly important question here is, do they go get a new bench coach, or do they just kind of divvy that job up to whatever's already there? Because I would absolutely hate that.
No, I think
Go
you gotta
get somebody.
I think you gotta go get somebody. I don't know who that's going to be. I mean, how many people are available at this point in the year? Like, you're probably either pulling somebody from your organization.
Can we get weird?
I'm saying it in the comments. I was going this. Is that where you're going?
I mean, you can get weird with this. Yeah, like you can get weird. Like you can say, hey, you know what?
That weird.
You know, Neil Walker, John Wayner, like however you want to say it, but you have to either go. You've got to go with either someone who has a pretty close personal ties to the organization in some way, or you can pull somebody from the minors too. That's always an option as well.
That's who I would have hired as my next manager.
We talked about this last night.
Jason Kendall. I'm telling you, I would have just been weird the rest of this year. Let's hire Jason Kendall to be the manager. Let's see what Jeff Saturday, this whole thing, because it's already a mess. Let's just screw it all up.
So Kelly's the logical choice here.
Yeah,
you got to go with someone. You got to go with someone who has like a relationship with the players in the middle of the year. Like, I don't think this is a time. This isn't the time to just bring in a brand new person.
Why?
Because they've been working with these guys for 3 months.
What happened? They're 12 and 26.
To Tyler's point, that sounds He's
Terrible.
selling me on it.
It's just kind of the way it works. And you've seen other
I don't
teams
care.
do this too. We saw the Phillies do this a few years ago with Girardi, where they fired Girardi, elevated the bench coach, turned things around, went to the playoffs. Like these things happen, and this is just kind of how it
Cardinals,
works.
Matheny.
You still want to have somebody who like knows the team and that the team knows. But I somewhat disagree in that, like, I don't think Don Kelly has too many fingerprints on this team. Like, how much of this team has Don Kelly been coaching, really? What does the bench coach really do that affects the team on a day-to-day basis? I don't know the answer to that question. I know people respect Don Kelly, so I feel like he can go in there day one and at least get, the players will go in there and they'll respect him right off the bat. So I think this is a good chance he's been given. I'm a little confused why there's no interim tag on this thing, because if you say that you're the manager for 2025, isn't that an interim manager? Like, why are we being weird about this? Like, he's the interim manager. If it works, then hey, you might become the manager. If it doesn't work, then we're going to go out there and get a new manager. So yeah, it's a weird dynamic here. I'm not
We're
sure.
talking about the team that removed Roberto Clemente for a seltzer ad.
Yeah,
Like,
they do weird things.
messaging is not like their strong suit.
Well, they got rid of message.
They have no idea what they're doing here. But I mean, he's here for 2025, and I hope they take an honest look at the end of the season and do a full search for a new manager.
Well, I
No
hope they
matter
do
what.
an honest search and I hope they do a full search for a new general manager.
Well, that
I
too.
hope
but
they
we're not
don't
at
do that
point yet.
search with Corn Fairy.
Yeah.
That's my only thing.
I guess my only thing though is too is I'm okay with the outside agency, because like, do you want Bob Nutting and Travis Williams picking somebody?
Well, maybe.
I don't know, but yeah, it's a weird day because I mean, obviously the problem with this team wasn't Derek Shelton. This team has many, many, many problems. Derek Shelton, is one of them, in my opinion. As I've said, like he needed to go, but like this doesn't really solve anything at all.
No, I mean, like it's almost
first step.
accountability. Like, it's accountability
It is.
at the very least. Like, it's 6 years in, and we finally have a touch of accountability. It's not last year where your accountability was firing your hitting coach. Like, this is an actual, like, Andy Haynes was a scapegoat. This is an actual scapegoat. Like, he was part of the problem for sure.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, he wasn't part of the solution.
Good. Yeah, I like that better. Like,
Andy Haynes was like, it didn't change anything. Derek Shelton, like he wasn't fixing things. So we're gonna move on to the next step.
are you actually surprised that they did this? Like when everyone thought they were going to? Like,
bit.
how often has this team just like dragged out decisions? And they did it like I think it was a pretty much a consensus thing that everyone was like, yeah, he's got it. Like, this is it. This time is now. And it happened.
I would probably like compare it to Matt Canada getting fired, where it's not something you do, but like that the organization does. But everybody and their mother knew it's time.
Mhm.
And they actually
It was
did.
just
And
so evident.
It shocked the heck
Right.
out of me, to be honest with you. I didn't think they would do it.
I mean, I wasn't shocked. I really wasn't.
Is
But
this the
again, I
earliest
just think
in
it's
the
because
year?
it's just so obvious that even the Pirates, you know what I mean? Like, can't screw it up. Because again, we were shocked that he came back.
Yeah.
That was what was shocking. We were shocked that he came back. So when you're already at the point of, I don't even know why you're here, and you start off 12-26, again, like, buddy, it has to happen. Also, after the April they had with everything going on. And that's what I'm glad Noah brought that up, because I think we talked about it, and I don't know if it was on the show or whatever, but it was a good point, because I heard a couple of people say that. Like, I don't think Bob actually truly knew how bad it is, like how much of a disconnect there truly is with the fan base and him. And again, like the mindset now of like, this ain't just about baseball anymore. This is about the business. again, like this firing Shelton's also kind of a business move, not just a baseball move. You know, I think that's kind of getting into his head now.
Mm-hmm. I just looked it up, and as far as I can tell, this is the earliest in a season the Pirates have switched managers since 1899.
And that
1899.
led
Can you
to a
confirm
war.
that for us?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what I'm looking at here. 1899, they made a switch after 22 games. That
I think
seems
I
to
probably
be
died in the middle of the season. Because it was 1899.
That's true too. Could have had like scurvy or something. But like you look at like the most recent example of firing a manager in the season was Lloyd McClendon. You know, they fired him in early September, you know, with 26 games remaining. Like we haven't, the Pirates haven't done a thing like this in a long
Clint
time.
Hurdle had like a game left.
Clint Hurdle had a game left. It was game 162. But like this early on in the year, like Danny Murtaugh took over in 1967 after 84 games. That's kind of like that's like the newest example of someone taking over this early in a season. But even this, I don't think anybody could have imagined at the start of the year that Derek Shelton would be gone on May 8th.
And Donardo, I'm glad you brought that up earlier about what Noah mentioned with the disconnect between Bob Nutting and the organization and the fans. Because I thought about this on my way home. I don't remember the last time even the national media has been this critical of the Pirates, because like even Buster Olney was on PTI earlier and they asked him like, what's the problem here? And Buster Olney flat out just said it's ownership. And we all know it, but nobody says the quiet part out loud. The grand scheme of things, it's ownership here. Like that's the overhead problem.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Cherington's also a giant problem because they can't find talent or develop it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a complete trickle down. I mean, it starts from the top, but it literally goes down. I mean, no one's absolved. No one's above the problems. You know, it's not as if, well, we know Ben Cherington's a problem. However, I'm persevering through the problem and Ben's doing the best job that he can, right? Or it's not as if like Ben's, you know, it starts with no money. Ben's creating crap players and, you know, rosters, but Derek Shelton's managing the hell out of it. You know, like it's just been top down, just problem every step. And unfortunately, you're not going to change the top unless maybe somehow someone gets through to him. The three ghosts have to visit, maybe. I don't know. But, you know, like you're not going to get through to him. He's not going to change his ways. Then you got to find people who are going to be able to persevere through those limitations. And the thing is, I know everyone wants to say like, well, it's neither Ben's or Derek's fault. You know, like look what's given to them. It's like, well, you know what? The thing that's still an excuse. There's other teams, there's other organizations that go to the same situations more or less. They have smart people. They find ways to do it. You might not be able to go get free agents, but that doesn't dismiss you from not being able to draft at all, not be able to find trades and evaluate trades and get good players in return, right? You still can do those things. You haven't.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all know the problem. The main problem here is Bob Nutting.
Mm-hmm.
Like you mentioned, it's a trickle down. When Bob Nutting doesn't take what he's doing seriously, when he doesn't see the importance of putting together a winning baseball team, if he doesn't act like there needs to be urgency, then there's no reason for the people underneath him to care or act like they have urgency because, hey, my boss is cool with this. Look at him. He doesn't care. And then when that happens, the guy below him thinks the same. Like it's just, it is systemic organizational failure at this point. And yeah, it all starts with Bob Nutting. And until he changes, you know, until ownership changes or until he changes how he wants to run this team, it's going to take a very special type of individual to be able to overcome that. Because like we've all worked for bosses who we didn't like. We've all worked for bosses where it's like, man, this guy doesn't really know what he's doing. It's not fun to work for people like that. It takes a special type of person to be like, you know what, this guy sucks, but I'm here to do a job and I'm going to do it the best I possibly can. And it's going to take somebody like that who, like, it doesn't, I don't care how bad of an owner you are. I'm going to build this team into a winner. That's what they need. And right now, and maybe that's what Ben Cherington is trying to do, but it's like he's failing. Like Ben Cherington is failing miserably at that job right now. And hopefully Bob Nutting understands that he's failing miserably and that a change needs to be made as soon as possible to turn this franchise around, because this organization just went through 19 years of losing. Then they had a little stretch where they were okay. Now they've been losing again, and they're losing now for 8 years in a row is what this is going to end up being. 7 years in a row, 2019 to 2015. You bring in a new GM and he doesn't turn things around immediately. Next thing you know, you got to trade Paul Skeens and start the next rebuild. Next thing you know, it's 2032 and we haven't had a winning season in 14 years. And at that point, there might not be any fans left to even put a team on the field for. We'll just be yelling on the podcast. It'll just be the three of us. This chat, there'll be nobody here. Everybody will go be fans of some other team.
Chat, don't do us like that. Please love us.
Don't do that. I
beg of you. For just 19 cents a day, you can feed the North Shore 9 podcast.
We'll have Sarah McLachlan music playing in the background.
I don't even really I don't want to expand on Jim's thoughts because they were so perfect there, but also we've been clamoring for it for 2 years. This is why we've been saying that, like, it's time to move on from Shelton and Cherington, because we can see the window. We can, and we're stupid. They can't. We see this is the window, and if you do not hit this right now, you wasted Paul Skeens. You wasted this opportunity. And what you just said, Jim, where all of a sudden it's 2032 and you haven't won in 14 years, we're well on our way to that because you waited until 2025 to at least make the first step of a move.
Yep. Well,
I'm mad again.
How do you guys really feel?
Why did Jim come on here?
I know, for real.
Yeah, my bad. I did say, I was like, I'm not going to be able to make it. Well, first I said I wasn't going to be on, but that was before the firing happened. And then I was like, crap, I got to be on. And so I was like, I'll figure something out. But then I had a work function after the work day was over, and that lasted a long time. And I made it. I was just 35 minutes late.
That's all.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about the presser at all before we get out of here?
Sure.
Because I just kind of do. I'm sorry that there's just so many things that bother me with that. I mean, sure, I get that Cherington took responsibility and said it's more of my problem. But damn it, guys, like, can we have enough of this corporate talk? I'm tired of hearing corporate talk. I'm tired of corporate talk. Can we just get some realness for once? Like, this is why why he's a good GM? He's a good GM for this. The way he talks. That's it. Like, the line that really, 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 really pissed me off today was he felt bad for Derek. Mm-hmm. Derek's a great guy. Felt bad for Derek, but the team's not doing well. We're all not doing well. We have to do better. We had to go in the next direction. Maybe if I was perfect, Derek would still be here. Oh my God, did I just want to punch him in the face then?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say that, but like, that was my initial reaction right there. I'm like, are you kidding me? It's like he has to I just felt the entire press conference, right? Him talking about, like, when he was asked, is his job safe? He's like, well, I show up to work every day. I'm happy. Nothing's changed. I'm energized the same way. You're not doing a good job. I don't care how energized you are. I don't care that you tell us that you're only here for the people of Pittsburgh and you just want to bring a winning team to Pittsburgh. That's it. That's all you're here for. Like, everything he said today just sounded so smug and just so like, my shit don't stink. But at the same time, he's telling us that, well, I have more responsibility. Well, maybe if I was perfect. Well, Ben, you're not anywhere near close to perfect. No one's perfect. No one asked you to be perfect. You shouldn't have to be perfect to do a good job. I was just so turned off by that. I'm sorry. I just had to say it.
Yeah, it was. Well, first off, credit to the reporters. I think they asked a lot of really good questions in this presser. I think they
asked the tough questions, Tyler.
They appropriately asked Ben Cherington some accountability questions. And in the grand scheme of things, the presser didn't really bother me. The part you mentioned, Donardo, that part kind of got a scoff out of me reading it. It's basically oh, I got to be perfect for everything to go well around here. No, you just have to not be complete crap, because you are complete crap. And you have been your whole career. You've had 1 year of successfulness. You're garbage.
But every opportunity you had to say it, it's I'm just as responsible on this, but it's well, if I was perfect, maybe if we were just good, let's just start there. If I was better, maybe, but he had to make it sound like if I was perfect, as if, well, I'm doing a really, really good job. So maybe I just needed to be perfect to save Derek Shelton's job. If I'm Derek Shelton, I'm sorry, I'm punching him in the face.
It was almost like he got tired of being asked about what he could have done better.
Yeah.
Oh no, I have to be perfect around here. No, you want
to feed us accountability, and we're responsible, and we were accountable together. And unfortunately today going forward, we're not going to be. But I'm doing a good job, guys. I feel I'm fit for this job, which, and again, I'm fighting for my job too. I'm going to say that also. I'm not going to say, well, no, I'm not. I should get fired too. You know what? I'm resigning. That's not going to happen, right? But not just be oh, I'm good. You know what? I could probably do. I need to do better also. Can we hear that? You know what? I do need to do better.
A little
not just well, I'm doing a great job. Maybe if I was perfect.
A little real self-reflection would have been nice.
Just some realness, something that says, Ben, you are a human. You are a human.
That I actually feel bad that my friend I had to fire my friend.
It was just straight corporate talk.
You riled me up.
I hated it. Hated it.
I mean, I don't really.
This is a great opportunity to show some realness, show some true emotion, have some real self-accountability. Nope. It was all media trained corporate talk. Anyways, I guess I got off on my chest a little bit here.
Jim didn't care about the presser at all.
Well, it's not that I didn't care. It's I literally was in meetings all day, and then I had a work thing after work, and I just now read it while Donardo was going on his soliloquy there. I was just kind of skimming through it. I haven't even gotten through it all. So
you didn't really miss anything.
I had Siri read it to me as I was outside today. And it's also kind of funny because I have my Siri in the Australian language, so it was a nice read. A listen, I should say.
I think the interesting piece here is there's a few mentions about, after seeing how the team has played in August, September, and now April, it's that's when it was time to make a change. And that's something that I think we need to take into account here. This team has been playing terrible baseball. It's not just it's not just a 2025 thing. This team has been playing terrible baseball since August 1st of last year. We're 3.5 months into this now, where it's been bad. It's been bad baseball. And it is a little interesting in that, last offseason, there was the quote, we got to be accountable together in this. And somebody was like, well, what changed? I thought you were accountable together. And now 38 games into this thing, are you no longer accountable together? Because he's not here anymore and you still are. And then he, it was kind of, the corporate talk of, well, we were accountable together and now I'm just accountable now. So it's, where's the togetherness? If you were accountable together and it's not working, then why are you both gone together? Shouldn't that makes sense to me, right? If you were supposed to be in this together, now you're saying, Shelton, you're gone. I'm still here. I'm the only one now who needs to remain accountable.
I'm the captain now.
Well, that was him being accountable. Right. He fired the other half that wasn't accountable.
Yeah. So it's just
even though he was more responsible for the Pirates failure. So I'm just trying to piece the puzzles here for this to make sense.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's
go ahead again.
I mean, and Ben Cherington's not going to fire himself, right? He's not. That's not a thing that's going to happen. but there was some talk about, hey, he's not going to, like, the only way he's going to fire Derek Shelton is if he's getting fired too. Like, there was some people who thought that, like, he told us over the offseason that they were accountable together. So he's not going anywhere. They're accountable together. And now you're seeing a shift from that. And yeah, it's been bad baseball now for a while. I'm very, very surprised that Shelton was here this year. Surprised that it happened this quick. Surprised that it's this bad. I don't think anybody was expecting it to be this bad. But yeah, I mean, just reading some things in here, he even brings up how they wish they would have done more this offseason. So it's like, Ben, this is going back to you. You said that you needed to add to this club and you didn't. And he even says on here, I'm trying to find the exact quote that he said, but you brought back, I think, sorry about this.
Is it the part about how he always wants to do more?
Yeah, it was
About how they brought in
adding, like,
Tommy
I wanted to add,
Pham and Adam Frazier.
yeah, I wanted to add more to the team. But like, we just weren't able to execute on that. We're always trying to get better, things like that. So, like, that quote is weird in that he's basically telling you right then and there, like, he not only was he not perfect, like, he didn't do what he was supposed to do this offseason.
Right.
And I think we all see that. We all knew that this offseason. And so, like, him coming out and saying that is something to just kind of keep in mind, where, like, he just admitted that he didn't do enough.
Right.
And, like, you can't not do enough in year 6 and expect to get a year 7.
Well, I think there's levels to that. You could and make a mistake, but your team's still winning. Not 12-26. By the way, 33-59 since August 1st of last year.
33-59.
And 59.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up there, Jim.
And 59.
Because that was a part of the presser that I forgot about. What it has been 3 months of baseball of going back to last year just being awful. So, like, I'm glad you brought that up. That is a good part of this as well. This is not just April being terrible. They've been bad for a little while now.
Yeah, and here's the quote from him about the offseason. He says, well, there's certainly more that we wanted to do. There's always more in an offseason that you want to do, and for whatever reason, we can't execute on whatever. There can be different reasons for that. I think we came off of last year certainly knowing that offensive production was going to be important, and we needed to take a step forward. We wanted to add to the offensive group, add meaningfully if we could. So he goes on to say, like, they wanted to add meaningful people to the offense, and guess what, Ben? You didn't do it. Like, you didn't do it.
Yep.
And because you didn't do it, we're in the situation we're in today, where
Derek got
fired the manager, and somehow you're still safe, and everything's all hunky dory for you.
Yes, sir. All right. So I got the pressure off my chest a little bit here. Even though I could go on much more, I won't. Is there anything else you guys wanted to talk and discuss?
Just interested to see Donnie Kelly and what he does. If anything is different.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, it's a breath of fresh air. It's a new face. It's a new message. I don't know if it's going to change anything, but we'll be here to talk about it all season long. And I'm sure we'll be super happy about it.
I'm sure I will.
All right. Yeah, no, it is. I mean, this is the first time, as the three of us been on together on North Shore 9, that it's going to be a Derek Shelton-less team. So,
Wow.
New change in order. Tomorrow officially starts the Don Kelly era. And like I said, I do want to give him a fair opportunity, a fair chance. I don't know if it's going to be the right move to keep him. I like what Noah said, and it might be in his best interest that it's also not. You know, let him go to another team, fresh start, build your thing. But either way, I want to give him a good opportunity, see what he has, and we'll go from there. Neil, I'm sure, already loves him. The best guy right? He's got to find someone. But no, with that said, I do want to say, so tomorrow, I told you guys, I teased a little bit today. Neil and Doug did their show. I'm sure it's going to be good. 40 minutes worth. Neil and Doug debating, talking about this Shelton firing, what's going to happen next. And again, you all know how Neil feels about Shelton and the manager job. You know how Doug likes to ride him. So I feel like that's going to be fun. So tomorrow before the game, when that premiered, his little tease.
I'm sorry for your loss, Neil. I'm sorry for your loss. I'm sure this is a tough time. I'm going to respect your privacy during this difficult time.
I've been the first time I've gotten out of bed all day. I haven't been able to recover from this news.
So definitely make sure you tune in.
Absolute shambles. Neil is in shambles.
Shambles. Yes. So that's definitely gonna be fun. So yeah, that'll be tomorrow. And then we'll have the game itself and then the post game to talk about Don Kelly. And I think I'm on it. I'll have to double check. I think I'm tomorrow. But yeah, we'll see you then. So as always, again, everyone, we love you. If you haven't, go ahead, subscribe, like, do all the fun stuff. Go ahead and join 99 cents per month. Get all the emojis. Have some fun with it. Anything else, fellas?
Like and subscribe.
May 24th. If you haven't RSVP'd yet. And it's 9 tailgate. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
All right, that wraps up this episode of North Shore 9. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whether you're listening on the podcast or catching us on YouTube, if you enjoyed the show, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps us grow. And if you're listening on the podcast, a quick review goes a long way in helping others find the show. Plus, be sure to tell a friend about us. There's always room for more here in the NS9 community. And for those looking to support us a little more, consider joining our Patreon, become an MVP member, and get exclusive perks while helping us continue to bring you more of the Pirates content you love. Thanks again for all your support, and let's go Bucks.